All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner talking Giants with your Week 9 Giants offensive line report. And I want to look at the Giants run game. I think that's been really enjoyable in this lost season is to analyze the Giants run game, the good and the bad. And it's gotten better, especially with Tyrone Tracy as the back, right? He's averaged over 80 rushing yards per carry when he's been the starter. The Giants as a team are averaging more rushing yards than they did last year on less carries per game. They have a better success rate. Like the running game is much healthier, and Tyrone Tracy's starting to show that pretty well, right? Like he's making some good cuts. He's reading defenders well, and then they're getting success out of some Daniel Jones zone reads and some Singletary plays too. So let's get into all of it. We're going to start. First play. These are going to be mostly successful runs that we go through here. This first play is bash. It's a form of counter. So you get this 4-yard run, first drive of the game. Now DJ can keep this, right? If this player chases down here, this end, then DJ holds on to it and gets out there and run. But he doesn't, and it just allows you to run counter without having the the backside defensive end chase and make the play on this. So Giants on the front side. You're going to have Runyon and Chris Hubbard. They're going to combo. Now, they're actually looking to work from this D lineman to this linebacker. But the bash motion gets Bobby Wagner sucked up here, and then they fill the safety down here. And then this linebacker bounces down here. And they get good movement on this, right? That's a big part of this, widening the gap, right? You see the strength that Chris Hubbard brings. Right. We take this defender, instead of letting him sit and anchor right here, we move his ass. We move his ass and give our running back more of a crease. Greg Van Roten's the kick-out block. Get to the inside shoulder. That's all you need, right? That you don't need to have this kick-ass pull when your other offensive linemen do this. Illuminor is the lead blocker. He gets to his spot on the line on this safety, puts him on his ass. Like, bam! Right? Now you wish that one of these guys were able to get off onto Wagner, but still you have yourself a successful 4-yard run because of that play. And honestly, I'm surprised they thought they downed that a little too early. But really nice run there for Tyrone Tracy. Next, a 10-yard Tyrone Tracy run on the duo concept, right? Trying to create as many double teams as possible. And the Giants don't really like to do this against stacked boxes. So what they've done is they bring in the wide receiver and they're going to insert him as a part of this. Because you have 7 guys in the box, but when you bring Wandale down in here, you bring a receiver in, and he kind of becomes part of the box. So you're just trying to create as many double teams as possible, but when you have it against a stacked box, you're not going to get that. So you have one-on-one here, one-on-one here. These two are doubling for this linebacker. Theo Johnson is going to block the end. And then Illuminor is going to work to this linebacker. And Wandale Robinson takes on the corner. Right? But they throw a run blitz at you. They have this defensive end, or this defensive tackle, jump into this A-gap. So, instead of these two doubling it, JMS passes it, just takes over it. Right? So we have one-on-one, one-on-one, one-on-one. This linebacker gets downhill. So instead of Greg Van Roten working on this, we're just going to work to number 4. Illuminor is going to go down here on this linebacker. Theo Johnson on the end. And then Wandale Robinson on the corner. Good job. That's exactly what you want. And look at this. Look at what you've got here now. Again, not getting over eager, right? There's been times early in the season where JMS or Greg Van Roten would try and work to this player and they'd fire out of their stance and they'd fall on their face. But you play with good discipline. You read that player. This linebacker bails. Here we go. My only critique is Greg Van Roten, don't stop. Just go, 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 go. Make this player make a decision. Instead, we stop and Tracy ends up, running into our back. Now he does a Good job of, spinning out of it and getting an extra 4 yards, but just go. Go, 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 go. All right, next play. This is going to be a Devin Singletary 15-yard run on split zone, right? So we're going to shift the tight end. We're going to have him sift to the backside, and you're going to run basic inside zone. And you get yourself a nice 15-yard run. So the split part of this is that instead of leaving this backside end unblocked to squeeze this down, you have Theo Johnson work to the backside of it. Now this end does a good job of spilling inside of here, but the front side just does such a good job here. Illuminor does a good job just to hold his block, maintain his block. And then JMS and Greg Van Roten, right? Ideally, they want a combo to this linebacker. JMS checks with it, but Greg Van Roten, get out of your stance. Good feet. Keep your feet churning. Get movement, right? That's good, man. We're starting here, and we're working them out here. That's more space for our back to operate. JMS, check with it. Check with it. It's not there. Have some urgency. Get up on this linebacker. Bam. There you go. John Runyon. Maintain this block, right? Sustain this block. How many times do we see that this is the guy who makes the play? He sheds this block late, right? And he tries to make a play, but because of the front side doing a good job, there's more space for Singletary to press this outside and give him out there. Where in other times, there's like this guy would make the play. He'd get an arm on the running back because the running back has to keep this tighter and make a play. Chris Hubbard, right? We check with it. The split zone action, the zone read part of this for DJ pulls Bobby Wagner out here, seal it off, and there we freaking go. And that's what makes a really, really successful run play. That's awesome stuff, man. Like, I enjoy watching that so freaking much. It's beautiful. Now you're going to see the impact that Chris Hubbard has made, right? Just going to run, again, zone read. This time not the split zone. And you're going to get a Tracy 10-yard run. So you're going to put Chris Manhertz and Theo Johnson. We're going to block here on the backside. This is the read defender. We're going to take this 5 technique. He is the read defender. Right? So that's who we're reading. Let's just go through the front side of this real quickly. Illuminor does a good job. Greg Van Roten and JMS. Greg Van Roten is holding this player up, right? He gets his hands on him, extends, and then JMS comes in with the hammer block, which is really good. Like, Greg Van Roten holds him up. JMS gets in there, works him to the outside shoulder, get movement, stay on it, take on this linebacker or safety. That's what you want, right? But Chris Hubbard is what really makes this work. What really makes this work, because you're going to see just the strength that he has, man. I mean, we're gonna move a guy down. We're gonna get in a guy's hip and move him. Again, Runyon does a good job of setting this up for him. Bobby Wagner is going to fill quickly. We got movement, right? So now the read defender can't play both. So he has to play DJ. And because of him having to play DJ, Tracy and this movement is able to press this more vertically and then go. And then work off of, break the tackle of Dante Fowler. If you had Josh Azudu in there, and I don't mean to take shots at the guy who's on the bench, but if you have Josh Azudu in there, this probably stays right about here. You're not getting that movement. This defensive end, there's no crease here. Tracy has nowhere to go. He makes that tackle. But instead, you do get that movement. Press it vertically, cut, go. Use that left hand to swipe them off of you. Get upfield. Get yourself a nice 10-yard run. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, man. Like, it's enjoyable. It's become really enjoyable to watch the Giants rushing game. Here they're going to run that play that we talked about in the beginning. Bash. Right? The mix of, read option and counter. Get 4 yards on it. Not perfect, right? We're going to go through some not perfect runs. A chill is in the air. It's getting dark at 5:30, and it drives me freaking insane. It makes me so, like, it legitimately makes me angry how dark it's getting so early. Leaves are falling to the ground in football every weekend. That's what fall's all about. And you can make each weekend even more friggin' exciting by getting into the action with our partners at DraftKings, the number one place to bet on these touchdowns. These touchdowns, bet on Tyrone Tracy. The run game is right. It's good. And right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will instantly get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you use code WORLD. Stand on the action and use your $200 and bonus bets to bet anytime touchdowns on DraftKings. DraftKings. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code WORLD and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code WORLD only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You'll be glad you did. Right, we're going to run counter with this part. JMS, good job keeping your head on a swivel. You see that these defensive ends are slanting in. Trust that Greg Van Roten is going to pick this player up. And then you take on this. You have Theo Johnson on the backside, so you have the backside taken care of. Jermaine Illuminor does a good job helping out Greg Van Roten here. Right? Get on this. Get on this and create space. Right? This defender's reading, move his ass. Move his ass to the other hash. And then you have Runyon, who's the kick out to this defensive end. Again, Runyon's not a great puller. Just get a hat on him. Now, here's a part of it that messes it up, though. Chris Hubbard gets tripped up. Now, I'd like to see John Runyon do a better job on this, get lower, bring more explosion through this. Right? We're just kind of throwing our shoulder in there with high pad level. Want to explode through this. But Chris Hubbard has to keep this tighter. Right? You want to become you know, my coach used to say if this dude farts, you want to be able to smell it when you run by. You got to get tight on that. And that just gives you a better angle when you're going for this linebacker. Because even though he gets tripped up here, Wagner's still probably making the play because he's filling inside. So you got to get tighter on this, right? So just too much depth. Cut it up. Cut it up right here, and then you have yourself think about if you have this blocked right here. And look at all this green grass for Tyrone Tracy. Look at all those fucking chickens for Tyrone Tracy. Instead, we don't keep it tight. We trip, but this is what you get too, is you get a 4-yard run out of this, right? And that's what the run game is about, is the fact that it's when everyone does their job, right, on the whiteboard, you get the one-on-one with this player, when everyone does their job. But in reality, is not everyone's going to do that on most plays, right? But if only one guy is messing up, instead of 2 or 3 guys are messing up, you still get a successful run. So on this play, Chris Hubbard is the only guy to mess up, right? But in past seasons and times, you would see that JMS would mess this up right here, right? He wouldn't come off onto this blocker, and this defensive end would make the tackle on Tyrone Tracy. Or Greg Van Roten wouldn't pick this player up. Or Illuminor, doesn't read the right thing. But when only one guy messes up, you get yourself a 4-yard successful run. This next one got me giddy. This is a Darius Slayton 11-yard run. This is tackle. This is wing T tackle trap. This is high school football. This is your wing back here, lined up in that. This was, as a tackle, your favorite 2 plays were counter, which they run in the NFL, and tackle trap, that they don't ever really run in the NFL. Some teams do. Penei Sewell runs it. So you're going to see this. There's all this area for Darius Slayton. How does it happen? So let's start on the fake. You're not really expecting a run to Darius Slayton. You're usually not expecting to run trap with the tackle. So you have Singletary working out here showing toss, correct? Right? But linebackers, they read the running backs, but they're also taught to read their guards, right? And the guards, what are they doing? They're both stepping right. Which pulls up Bobby Wagner here. Correct? Awesome. Right? So that movement there. And then you have Greg Van Roten blocking here. JMS here. And then this end does a bad job on this chasing the play, right? He chases the running back on this, right? He sees the fake, or he sees what he thinks is a toss, and he wants to chase on it. So guess what he doesn't do? Squeeze this inside. And that makes an easy pull for Jermaine Illuminor, right? Defensive end did his job on this. Chris Hubbard, we're working to this. Linebacker does his job on this play. And then look at all this freaking green grass, right? Runyon gets on the Bobby Wagner. Wide receiver on a DB. 11-yard run. Again, I've been doing these O-line reports for a long time. I have not seen anybody run wing T tackle trap in the NFL. I don't know if I'll ever see it again, but it was beautiful because this was my favorite play to run. Next play. This is a play that didn't work great, but it was all right. This is pin and pull. And there's really one mess up on this because otherwise, if you don't have this D lineman in on the play, Tracy cuts this up and he has 6. So the Giants are going to shift or put Theo Johnson in motion. We're going to pin down the end with Darius Slayton. And then we're going to pull. Right, we're going to pull Chris Hubbard and Theo Johnson's not pulling, but Theo Johnson's getting out of here and lead blocking. Right? So let's watch Chris Hubbard and Theo Johnson. Good job. John Runyon and JMS is what messes this up. So, you see Runyon smacks Johnny Newton's hand down here. So, what you're trying to do on that play is John Runyon to get his, Johnny Newton a little head heavy. And then JMS is supposed to come over the top and basically just like Donkey Kong smash on his back and put him on the ground. But it just doesn't work like that. Mathis, who's been looked like the best player on the Commanders' defense in this game, honestly, like better than Daron Payne. He gets some forward lean, he gets momentum on it, and JMS isn't able to make that block. But again, one guy messes up, you get a 3-yard run. Right? If everyone does their job on the whiteboard like it's supposed to, then you get this touchdown. Right? Even on the backside, they do a good job. Greg Van Roten does a good job ripping through, opening this defensive lineman's shoulders. Illuminor's able to get on it, and Runyon seals off this backer. Again, not a perfect run, but a successful run. And then I want to show you the difference of a back. And I don't want to take one play and get on Devin Singletary, but this is where Tyrone Tracy's been a help. Giants are running inside zone on this. And we just make the wrong read on Bobby Wagner. Now, Chris Hubbard doesn't do a great job on this, but he does a good enough job for the play. And you have Runyon and JMS working for this linebacker. But JMS does a really good, really heady play here. You see that this defensive tackle, Daron Payne, is really flowing with the play. He's trying to jump down into this gap. So JMS checks with this. This is what he's supposed to work for. But JMS sees this from the backside. What does he do? Throw his shoulder into that. Wham! Get under his fucking pads and throw your shoulder in that. That's really smart football, right? Wham! Right? We just put him back in his gap. Where we want. Runyon does a good job of sustaining this block one-on-one, doesn't get any movement. And JMS works to the linebacker, and we just make the wrong read on this by Singletary. I mean, eyes are here. I don't know why we're trying to get this out here. Like, we should be working up in this gap at this point and seeing that at bare minimum, we're getting a couple yards here. Instead, we run into John Runyon's back. And this isn't just Monday morning quarterbacking here, right? At this point, you should be seeing this and realizing you need to get in that backside A gap. At this point, at this point, you should be making that cut. And at last second, you should be cutting up here. Because again, that's just, look what you have here. Look what you have here. Said they don't make it. But, man, the run game has been, there's been times, man, where it's miserable to watch. And I think this Giants run game has been, in a bad season, something that I've actually enjoyed watching. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you on the next one. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. See you then. Until then, let's go Big Blue.